As we mentioned during the public comment period, there's a lot of you joining us for the first time. A lot of this is kind of new information, and yet you're kind of stepping in the middle of the process. So what we thought we'd do is back up and start over at the beginning, cover the kind of what, why, and who of this whole process so that everyone is on the same page and understand where we're at, what we're doing, and what's coming up in the future. So what we're doing is we are updating an area plan. The area plan is an official amendment to the Coconino County Comprehensive Plan, and the intent of the area plan is to reflect the local residents' vision of the future, and it contains goals, policies for development, and provides guidance for decision makers. There are 9 different area plans throughout the Coconino County. The last one that was updated just about a year and a half ago was Belmont, and these are, so they exist all over the county. We're not alone in the fact that we have an area plan. Why we're updating it right now is because the law says we're supposed to. Arizona Revised Statute 11, Tac 805, paragraph M says once every 10 years, your area plan is supposed to be updated. Obviously, we're a little delinquent here. It's been 20 years since our area plan has been updated. And so that's why we're working hard now to make sure that it reflects the current residents' opinions of what our area is and what we don't want it to be. The who part here is who are these people that are on this committee and how did they get there? So the Doney Park area plan covers 2 different districts in Coconino County, a part of District 2 and a part of District 4. And as a result of that, the supervisors from District 2 and 4, who at the time were Supervisor Archuleta and Supervisor Parks, each invited several community members to represent their districts on this area plan rewrite committee. The folks they selected, I believe, were the ones that they saw that were most active in the community, the ones that were attending the neighborhood watch meetings, the ones that were participating in community activities, the ones that had a good feel for the pulse of what was going on out here and would be able to make sure that the plan that we're working on reflects what the people that live here want it to be. An important thing to note is that all of the people on the committee live here in the area plan area. The result of the people that they selected was a very diverse group of people with a wide variety of political opinions, but it seems they have one thing in common, and that is they all want to see Doney Park remain Doney Park. They don't want to see it changed into something other than that. I consider myself fortunate to have been a part of this committee because I've made several new friends that I probably wouldn't have otherwise met as a result of this. So what have we done up until now? Well, I mentioned earlier, this is our 20th meeting. So we've had informal presentation or informational presentations, I'm sorry, from about February of last year through March of this year. And that slide that, there you go, Melissa. This shows just a partial list of the different organizations that have made presentations to this committee to make sure that we're as well informed as possible about how these different organizations interact or interface or border on or those kinds of things. And during those presentations, we as a committee were able to kind of compile lists of, well, let's make sure this or that or the other thing is addressed in our area plan when we get to the point of reviewing that. So those things were all held in a master list kind of a thing, waiting for us to begin that review of the 2001 or 2000 area plan. I don't remember, it's 20 years old. The other thing we did is we can, I'm sorry?
It's 2001.
2001, okay. I was half right. The other thing we did is we conducted a survey, and I think a couple of you mentioned that you had seen the survey. As I have mentioned a couple of times, public thought and comment is very important to us, and the survey was an attempt to gather more of that in as concise a way as possible. Recognizing the extremes that COVID has put everyone in over the last year, there were some challenges that we faced, and we knew that. But I can go over a quick list of what we did to try to make sure as many people as possible could complete the survey. So we sent a postcard to every address in the planning area, notifying people of that survey and how they could take it. It was an online survey primarily. The county supervisors, Supervisor Parks and Archuleta, both sent emails out to all of their lists in their newsletters, telling people about the fact that there's this survey out there and that it's important that you participate in it. The county issued a press release notifying everyone of it. Notices were sent to the Doney Park, Timberline, Fernwood area plan email list, a list that you should be on if you're here this evening. Again, emailing mshaw@coconino.az.gov will get your name added to that list, so you'll be up to date on everything. Paper copies of the survey were provided at Summit Fire, and there were flyers and postcards posted at places like the Silver Saddle store and some other places so that we could get some additional public visibility. We also attacked social media, of course, and there were posts made on the Doney Park Facebook page. There were posts made on the Nextdoor app. And the county also posted information about the survey on their Twitter and Instagram accounts. Partway through the survey, we heard some folks were having difficulty completing it within the 30-day time frame that we had allowed for inputs. So we extended that survey for a week because we wanted to make sure we got as many folks included as possible. We received 690 responses back to that survey, and that's out of a total of about 4,198 different households here in the Doney Park area. We would love to have seen 4,198 responses, but that's just not realistic, and we know that. But what we did is we went ahead and had the county staff, thankfully, compile all the results of those surveys. And then we reviewed those results as a committee. You too can review those results. They are posted online on the website. We'll be posting that link here shortly. So if you would like to see what your neighbors think about Doney Park and what we should or shouldn't be doing here, those survey results are available. Then we began the review of the current area plan, and we basically are working through it chapter by chapter, making the updates or ensuring that the things that are covered that we thought were necessary while we were going through those informational presentations. Tonight, providing we have a quorum, we will be working on chapter 8, which is the land use, growth, and development chapter, and that will leave just chapter 9, the transportation chapter, left to do at next month's meeting. We've also created the self-driving tour that I think Kathy mentioned and a couple other people may have had a chance to do. That too is available on the website. We strongly encourage you to go ahead and do that self-driving tour. It'll perhaps introduce you to parts of Doney Park, Timberline, Fernwood that you didn't know exist, and better know your neighborhood. And it also has a survey attached to it, so you can provide input about what you see while you're doing this tour, either live, real time, or later on once you get back and have a better internet connection. So moving forward, our plan is to finish the draft area plan. As I mentioned, next month we should finish up the last chapter. And then what we're going to do is we're going to host open houses, probably 2 of them. We're going to make the document available online. Everyone that would like to read it and comment on it will have an opportunity to do that at their leisure at home, but they can also attend open houses where we can have back and forth interface about what you like or don't like or things you think need to be changed. We'll have at least 2 open houses. We're hoping that at least one of those by that point will be in person, but they could end up being virtual like we are tonight. After those are completed, we're going to go ahead and compile and review the input that we got from the public during those open houses. And the committee will meet again and then modify our plan to make sure it's consistent with what we heard at those open houses. Once we're satisfied that we have an area plan that represents what our community really wants, we're then going to forward that on to the Planning and Zoning Commission. The Planning and Zoning Commission will review the document and hold a public hearing where public comment will be available again to tell the Planning and Zoning Commission what they do or don't like about the area plan. Once the Planning and Zoning Commission is happy with it, they forward it on to the Board of Supervisors, where once again, there will be a hearing and there will be public input. So you can attend the meeting and tell your supervisors you like or don't like, anything in the plan. The point here is there's going to be quite a bit of opportunity for public input, not just now, but throughout this entire process. So that kind of brings us to what can you do? And I'm so happy to see all these little icons on my screen right now of all these interested people here. It's awesome to finally get to the point where there's so many folks that are aware of and are participating in this process. The number one thing is to stay engaged. What we want you to do is, like I said, email mshaw@coconino.az.gov, get your name added to our email list so that you'll receive regular updates as to what's going on, when, and where. We want you to check the website regularly. It's updated following every meeting and oftentimes in between with new information. There's recently been added a new graphic that shows the process that we're flowing through right now. So we'd like you to check that website often and find out, what's going on and how you can stay abreast of the changes that are happening. Take that self-guided tour that we talked about, the link that is there on this slide also. It's on the county Facebook page, of course. And then complete that survey so that your feedback can be seen by the commission, or by the committee, excuse me. And then, of course, once we get to the point where we're having these open houses, we would love to see you there, either on Zoom here or in person, and hear your thoughts about the work that we've completed to that point, because we want to make sure that this area plan represents what you, our neighbors, believe Doney Park should be. That's really what this whole plan is all about. I kind of skipped over what is this plan used for, and that's kind of the most important part, so I saved it for the end. The Planning and Zoning Commission and the Board of Supervisors are oftentimes met with questions about, we would like to rezone X, or we would like to do something different that's not currently authorized by zoning or by area plans or whatever. This document is what they refer back to find out, is what's being proposed consistent with what the people that live there now want to see. If it's not, it gives them the tools they need to be able to say, I'm sorry, you're just not going to be able to build a Walmart on the corner of Copeland and 89, or whatever the process, the project might be. I shouldn't pick on a particular corporation. So that's why this document is so important, that all of you have your input to it, that it reflects what you value about our community, and that's why we're so happy to see you here this evening.
Rob, this is Melissa.
Go ahead.
Hey, if I could just add to what you were just mentioning in terms of how the document is used. So it's a goal and policy document that does reflect the vision of the area plan, and it's used by the Planning and Zoning Commission and the Board of Supervisors for specific projects, and those are for conditional use permits, rezonings, and subdivision requests. So it's used as an amendment to our comprehensive plan, and when those projects come in for review, planning staff and then either the Planning Commission or Board of Supervisors will review the related policies in relation to the project and use those to make a decision. So just wanted to clarify that there are specific projects that this plan will be looked at in terms of making decisions by those bodies about those particular types of actions. Thanks.
Okay. A couple other things that you can do. Make sure you attend your neighborhood watch meetings. They hold them at the fire stations here every month. Lots of good information is presented there. I think John Patton, who's here tonight, is the one that sets those up for us, and I appreciate that. So being active in your community is a good way to make sure you're being a good neighbor and make sure you're aware of what might be going on or not going on, because we want to make sure we're operating from an informed position and not getting unnecessarily upset or concerned about things that may not actually be factual. Are there any of the committee members here this evening that would like to add anything to what